Hey friends, it's Corey from Hey Let's Make Stuff, and in today's video I thought we would do an experiment. So I get asked pretty often, how do you clean a Cricut mat? And honestly, I don't know. So we're going to test it today. I am lucky enough, privileged enough to be able to generally buy new Cricut mats when I need them. I will use them basically to death, and then when they won't stick anymore, I'll replace them. So I've never actually cleaned a Cricut mat. So I thought today we would try 4 different methods of cleaning a Cricut mat so that we could see what works best. So I've gone through and I found kind of my 4 crummiest mats, and we're going to use 4 different methods to clean them. 3 of these are methods that I've seen other people use. One is one that I just thought I'd try because why not if we're experimenting. The first here is baby wipes. So I see baby wipes used a lot. My kids are past baby wipe stage, thank goodness. But we did have some baby wipes still, so I went ahead and grabbed those, and they are still good because they've been sealed. I'm also going to try Windex, which is a newer one that I have seen some people using, and I'm kind of excited about that one. We're going to try dish soap and sort of a bristled brush. And then I also want to try Simple Green. I wanted to try the awesome spray that a lot of people talk about that you can get at the Dollar Tree, but unfortunately when I went to my Dollar Tree to pick some up, my Dollar Tree was closed for some sort of water repairs, so I couldn't actually get any. So we're going to try the Simple Green because I'm just curious if it's strong enough to sort of clean the mat, but not too strong to actually eat through that adhesive. I also have a couple other tools over here. I've got a few different brushes. This one has some harder bristles. I'm not sure we're going to use those hard bristles, but we can try them out. But it does have sort of this nice rubber scraping tip at the end, which I thought could be kind of helpful if we've got some kind of stubborn gunk. So I've got that. And then I have a softer bristled brush here. You could also try a sponge if you wanted. I don't really like sponges, so I'm going to avoid that one, but I am going to try the bristled brush here. And then I also have a Cricut scraper. You may also want to try, a credit card or a used gift card or something like that for actually scraping things off your mat. But I think the extra large scraper here has that nice edge, but it's not too sharp like a razor blade or something in it, so it shouldn't damage the mat. Like so many of you, my mats have all sorts of stuff on them. I've got obviously the debris that sort of comes with cutting, so there's little, paper pieces and that sort of stuff. I also have cut felt on a lot of these mats, so there's some sort of fibers or fabric fibers. I also have a 90-pound Bernese Mountain Dog, so Gus is on these mats, along with, of course, my own hair and all sorts of other stuff that just is floating around my office. Of course, when you are storing your mats, you want to store them with those plastic covers on. There's a right side and a wrong side to the plastic covers. On the right side, it will stick much better to the mat, and on the wrong side, it doesn't peel, or it peels away too easily, so it doesn't really protect the mat quite as nicely. So make sure you flipped it over to the side that actually sticks really well. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. So I have my first mat here, and I'm going to try the baby wipe method. Now, like I said, I haven't even opened these, but here we go. These are fresh and clean Target baby wipes. I'm not sure if you need a specific type of baby wipe here. I don't think maybe the water-only baby wipes or even maybe the sensitive skin ones will work quite as well. Those are really potent. They are very fresh and clean. I can smell them. So you may need something that has that little bit more, I don't know, chemicals or whatever is in it to sort of break down what's on this mat. I don't know if you can see how dirty this mat is in the overhead view here, but it really is pretty grimy. It's got quite a bit of gunk here, and then there's a lot of dog hair. So let's go ahead and try. I'm just going to kind of use a circular motion up here in the corner. And let's see. I do know this method does require quite a bit of elbow grease. But yeah, I actually think that is actually pulling up really nicely here. I'm really interested to see what sort of stickiness the mat will retain after all of these cleaning methods. But this is actually working really nicely. I can see though that this is a slower method because you really do have to go over everything here and get it to work. So you can see here that I am pulling up quite a bit of stuff on my baby wipe here. So just keep going here. So I have a couple little stubborn bits here. I don't know if you can see them, little stubborn bits here. So I kind of wonder if maybe this little tool will work. Oh yeah, that pulled that right up. I don't know if you can see that there. There we go, very nice. Just keep scrubbing. All right, I'm gonna finish this mat just with the same exact method. I'm gonna set it aside and we'll see how well at the end it retained its stickiness. All right, our second method is going to be Windex. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the Windex here on. And one of the things that I read was that you should let it sit for a while. So I'm actually gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm actually gonna hit it with that scrubby brush to see if we can pull up all of this felt and all the things on this mat. All right, the Windex has been doing its thing for about 5 minutes. So I think I'm gonna use this brush. So this brush has bristles. They're not super hard and they're not super soft. They're kind of somewhere in between. This one has very, very hard bristles. So I just don't think I wanna do this one. I feel like it might actually pull up the adhesive. So let's see how this goes. Oh yeah, that's like pulling up things right away. Wow, that was pretty amazing. I don't know if you can see these big flowers here. Watch. It just pulls that right up. That's pretty amazing, actually. And we'll just scrub this in circles, just like this. Yeah, this seems to be pulling things up. You can see it's like pilling and gross little grossness. Ooh, I like this method already better than the baby wipes. It's a lot faster. And those baby wipes had a very potent, fresh and clean smell. And this just smells like Windex, which I think we all know what that smells like. Not too bad. All right, so I can see that I've got like, you know, it's pulled up. Oh, you can see in the brush here that it's pulled up all of this off the mat. Before I go and rinse this off, I think I can just take my little scraper here and sort of scrape and see maybe if I've missed any bits. This actually looks really good. I'm pretty impressed. If this gets sticky again, this might be the way to go. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a little bit over here. It's the dog hair, I'm telling you. The dog hair is the stuff that sticks the worst. All right, I'm gonna take this over to my sink, rinse it off, and then I'm gonna let it air dry. I'm not gonna use a paper towel or microfiber cloth or anything. I don't wanna do anything to add more fibers back onto the mat that I just spent all this time scraping off. So I think I'm gonna go with the air dry method. My Windex mat is drying, so let's move on to the next method, which is going to be Dawn dish detergent. I think you could use any dish detergent, but you know, I like Dawn, so it's got the little like cleans ducks. I don't know, I like that. So for this, I have a spray bottle. Normally I would probably do this just in my sink, but there is no way for me to get my camera and equipment and everything into the place where I have my sink. So I'm just gonna put like just a little drops. That's probably enough for this whole mat. And then I'm going to get it wet here. This is just water. All right. And I really liked how this bristle brush did that last time. So let's go ahead and do that again. Get this kind of spread around. And then again, I'm gonna wait 5 minutes to let the dishwashing detergent do its thing. Once this has set for a few minutes, I will be back. This has been sitting for about 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and use that same circular motion we used with the Windex, and let's see how all of this comes up. This is probably the dirtiest mat I had, but yeah, that's coming right up. It's a little harder to see with the bubbles, but there was a bunch of red dots over here and they are pretty much gone. So you can see there's like this orange stripe here, and that just is taking it right up. So as I've gone about this, I found that the Dawn is just a little bit slipperier than the Windex, so it's just a little bit harder to hold onto the mat. I feel like it wants to scoot around a little bit more, but I'm just gonna go ahead. It's also a little harder to see where I might have missed. I have also found that the edge of the bristles works really well if there's, you know, pieces you can't get up. So there's a little black piece of something here. Let's use my scraper, pick that right up. Like with the Windex, I'm gonna go ahead and take this to my sink, rinse it off, and I'm gonna let it air dry. And I'll be back for our final simple green experiment. All right, we are to our final experiment, which is using Simple Green. Simple Green is one of my favorite household cleaners, and I'm really curious to see if it will work in this particular application. I think there's a chance it could be too strong and it may actually eat through the adhesive, so it won't be as sticky after we finish cleaning it, but that's what we're gonna see. I'm just gonna give it 1 or 2 sprays, and then I'm gonna do the rest with water because this is concentrated. I don't think I would use straight Simple Green. You can test it if you'd like, but here we go. So we're just gonna use like maybe 3 little sprays here, and then I'm gonna water it down quite a bit here, which is just water. All right, and again, also has a very strong smell. I'm gonna use this brush. I'm really happy with this little bristle brush. I got this one, it's a Scotch-Brite. I got it at Target. I'll see if I can link to it in the description below. I like that the bristles are sturdy, but not super strong. I think it works really well here, so Like the others, I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit for 5 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll go ahead and scrub it. The simple green has been sitting for about 5 minutes. Before I tackle this with the brush, I'm just kind of curious to see what would happen if I just use the scraper. There is a piece of vinyl up here that I need to scrape off. So I get that off there. And then you can see here that I've got a ton of lint and hair and dog hair, so I'm just curious. Okay, so that moved some of it, but not all of it. I really do think that the brush is necessary, so we'll do that. It does look like it is pulling everything up. So just like I did with the other ones, I'm using a circular motion, sort of like brushing your teeth, right? It gets you the best clean. And we'll just go all the way down again. And you can see here it's pulled up all of this gunk as well. Pretty gross. Like with the Dawn, it is a little bit hard to see what I'm doing because the bubbles are kind of thick, but I think this has worked pretty well. All right, again, I'm going to go ahead and take this to my sink. I'm gonna rinse it off and I'm gonna let it air dry. I'm gonna come back with all 4 mats and we're gonna see which one looks the best and which mat that I would recommend. All right, are you ready for the results? All of these have air dried and I have to say, all of them worked. All 4 of them worked, which I'm kind of shocked about. And they all worked really well. Like every mat has like a good amount of stick. It's hard to tell my table is like wants to suction cup the mats to itself. But I mean, there is quite a bit of stick to these mats. I would say my favorite of all of them would be the Windex. That's because it required only the Windex. I didn't need to dilute it like I did with the detergent and with the simple green, which also required water, which means that I could just have a bottle of Windex easily in my craft room, spray it down, clean it up. The baby wipes worked really well, but they took a lot of elbow grease. And if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I have some chronic pain in my joints. And I will say that my hand is still aching a little bit from all the scrubbing I had to do with the baby wipes. So they worked, and if you don't have those sorts of issues, you can totally use the baby wipes. The Windex worked great. At first I thought the simple green might have pulled up some of the adhesive, but it turns out it was just still wet. But now I mean, these mats look nearly brand new. I'm very impressed. All 4 of these methods should work on a green mat, on a blue mat, and on a purple mat. One of the questions I know that's going to come up is, what do you do with the pink fabric mat? And that's a great question. I don't know. I actually went and looked and I only have brand new pink fabric mats. I recently went through my whole studio and I threw out a bunch of mats, and I think I threw out every single pink mat I had that had anything on it. And I didn't want to waste materials or whatever just to make a mat dirty so that I could then clean it for this video. I do know there are some people who say that you have to use a completely different cleaning system. Cricut says that the adhesive on the pink mat is different than the adhesive on all of their other mats. I don't know. I've also heard that it's actually the same adhesive. They just said that. I don't know. Who knows? But I have seen people use the Dawn method on the pink mat and it has worked. So I think you could probably try any of these methods just to see if they work. Or you may just decide that the pink mat is even more of a consumable and you're just going to buy a new mat when your old one gets too junky. I really hope you found this video helpful. I found it helpful. I'm actually really excited to clean my mats and get way more use out of them. I know at some point you do need to throw a mat away when it just isn't sticking anymore. If your cuts aren't coming out right, if your material is shifting and you've already cleaned the mat, they are technically a consumable product. They are not meant to last forever, so you can extend the life, but at some point, really your best bet is just to go and buy new mats. If you have any questions about cleaning your Cricut mat, go ahead and leave those in the comments. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more weekly content. I'll see you next week.